Starting from last week, we start our journey for Chapter 15, the Multiple Linear Regression Model. As I mentioned, when we are learning this chapter, we will try to compare this Chapter 14, Simple Linear Regression Model with the Multiple Linear Regression Model. Before I start to introduce this week's new concept, I will do a short review. So in last week, we are learning the multiple linear regression model, and we are mainly focused on first, we learn how to get our multiple linear regression model. And the second, we learn how can we get R square and adjust it R square. So the R square and the adjusted R square is used to measure the goodness of fit of the model. So before we do the further analysis, we want to look at what is the quality of our model. So after learning the coefficient of determination R square and adjusted the coefficient of determination adjusted R square, and then we learn the significance tests. So in the significance test, we learn F tests, T tests, and the last one, confidence interval for partial coefficient. So the question is, if we have a really good R square, which will have a high value, and also our model is significant, we pass the F test and T test, and the confidence interval for the partial coefficient. And what we will do next? Yes, we want to use the model to do the prediction. That's the reason we want to build a model. We want to use our model to predict if we know the value of X, can we get the value for Y, and also we know Y is a random variable, and so even we given the value for X, so each individual Y should be different. So we need to know what will be the possible interval for us to believe that is the true Y value for Y. So that is what we will learn in this week's. So the first we will learn is the estimated regression for estimation. So we want to know the confidence interval for the mean of Y. Then we will also want to use the estimated regression equation for prediction. Then we will learn the prediction interval for individual Y. And after that, we will learn if we want to include the categorical data in our explanatory variable, how can we include it? So we will introduce the dummy variable. And at the end, we will learn the residual analysis, which is used to validate our model. So at the beginning, we mentioned each simple linear or multiple regression model has an assumption, 4 different assumptions. Then after we did the regression analysis, we always need to add one more step that is called model validation.